Okay, let's move on to the next one. Emotional. So emotional is a little bit more obvious, and the only reason why is because you get really triggered here. In the mental, psychological, it's more like they're planting all these seeds and making you feel a little crazy, like something's off. You can't see straight. They also use transinduction. I forgot to talk about that. It's such a vast subject, but they use transinduction to bring you into a certain state that's altered and keep you there, and it usually feels really good, very sensual, but it's almost as if you're underwater, as if things aren't just not quite sharp anymore when you're in their vicinity. I had that experience many, many, many times where I felt like, oh my god, like things are just blurry, and then I would walk into the bathroom and look at myself in the mirror, and the trance would snap for a moment. I'll be like, wow, what am I doing? This is different. And I would get momentary clarity, and then I would walk back in to be in their company, and I would settle right back into that trance. So something to keep in mind. So third is emotional. And this one usually, this is where the triggers really escalate. And it usually begins with some kind of an innocent comment. Things are going well, you're having a nice time, and suddenly they say something critical. And it stabs, it jabs, it hurts. And you try to explain, you try to maybe communicate about this, and before you know it, it begins to escalate into this terrible argument, which we had mentioned. So there's a lot of overlap here, but it really gets your emotions stirring to the point where you feel like you're the one losing control. And the point of this is here, the point of this kind of abuse is because the narcissist, psychopath, pretty much constantly feels shitty. They always in that sub-level of these gnawing emotions, which they have never resolved themselves. They're usually overly anxious, or they're scared, or they feel ashamed, deep, deep toxic shame. And it's so deeply buried that they're not even aware of it, but it still seeps out, right? It leaks out. It's like nuclear weapons, and not nuclear weapons, but nuclear fallout from a nuclear plant, right? You encase it in all these lead containers, but sooner than later it's so powerful it will begin to leak out and poison the environment. So it's poisoning them, and now it's radiating further out and poisoning you. So because they feel so rotten and so emotionally icky, actually icky is too light of a word, but you get the point, they will try to make you feel worse in order to feel better. I'm sure you've heard this concept before, where there's this superiority inferiority complex. So you have someone who feels so inferior that in order to feel better, they need to get to jump the level to the superior, and the way they do it is not by, like a healthy person would do, some form of a contribution. They do it by, or elevating the energy, right? They're helping someone. They do it by bringing people down. So there's no middle point, and there's no balance of sort of like, because we all have insecurities, everyone, even probably the healthiest person, even the Dalai Lama, or, conjure up any person that you think is spiritually enlightened, or feels like they must be psychologically stable. And I bet you that they have moments when things are just out of whack. We all do. This is part of human nature. But you learn to ride that current so it's not so volatile. It's not the case with the narcissist. They're usually in the sub-level of equanimity, and they want to take that away from you. So they try to pull you down even lower to where they are. And now they feel like, misery loves company, They're no longer the only ones suffering. It's really, really, really sick. It's really sick. So, so they literally basically dump their shit on you. They manipulate you emotionally, and also they like to oscillate. For instance, the borderline is very good at one moment showering you with affection, making you food, being all nice, listening to how your day went, and then the next moment, they just start throwing things, and it's in order to emotionally dysregulate you. So once you're in that environment for long enough, you by yourself, without them even having to do anything, are going to enter that roller coaster with them. And what will begin to happen is you'll be in this constant state of conflict with each other for almost no reason whatsoever. Why are you peeling the carrot this way? Stupid shit like that can just begin a horrible argument. So yes. All right, well, let's move on to the next one.